Is joining us on the broadcast, so I'll just take one question and then you can take it from there. AP Singh is a former CBI director. Mr. Singh, now that the CBI has taken over the investigation in this particular case, and I'm sure you're aware of the developments and the questions in this particular case. Since you've handled the agency in the past, why don't you tell our viewers a little bit about what the CBI will essentially be looking at in a case like this, when there is a rail accident involved and signaling error, etc. System electronic interlocking are being looked at, and whether the sabotage angle is a possibility or not. Will these be the aspects, and what else will the CBI look for, sir?
Let me tell you that when I was in the CBI, we did a case, the Gyaneshwari train accident. This happened in 2010, and I think in that also about 150 people were killed. This Gyaneshwari express collided with a goods train and 150 people died. And in that case, sabotage was suspected because the sleepers had been removed. In a particular section, certain sleepers had been removed, and Maoists were suspected at that time. And I think that was the investigation, that it was sabotaged by Maoists. And that also happened in this area, well, not exactly in Odisha, but it happened in the Kharagpur Tata area. So it was in West Bengal, and about 150 people died. So the CBI took over the investigation, and the CBI actually basically formed the team. They will take railway officials also into it, and they will have a detailed investigation into what exactly happened, and was it sabotage or was it negligence on the part of the railway people. So it won't be very difficult. I'm sure they'll be able to come to the proper conclusions.
Mr. Singh, keeping in mind all the information that we've got so far, it does appear that someone from within the department could be responsible for it, keeping in mind that this is about the signaling issue, the electronic interlocking issues that have been brought up. So does this essentially mean that we are looking at a possibility of negligence at this point in time, or would you say that there is a possibility that we cannot rule out of senior officials could be involved in the sabotage process?
No, I don't think it would be senior officials. If it's sabotage, then it obviously has to be some outside agency. It's too early to say because, they at the moment, I guess it's more of a rescue operation going on, clearing the tracks, getting people into hospital, looking after them. But CBI will move in, and it'll form a team. There will be railway officers in it. There'll be forensic experts. And as I said, I don't think it will be very difficult to come to a clear conclusion about what exactly happened. CBI does a very thorough investigation, and as I said, it's teamwork. There will be a complete team of railway officers as well, along with the CBI, and then they will go through all the facts of the case and come to a clear decision.
You spoke about the 2010 Gyaneshwari Express, and
Yes, yeah.
I think, if I'm not wrong, that was in Jhargram. And in that particular instance, if you can tell our viewers a little bit about also the CBI's approach in a case like this, and any possible timeline for any conclusion, if at all, sir. How long does an investigation like this take?
Well, I don't think it should take, this particular investigation should not take more than 6 months. In the Gyaneshwari case, as far as I can remember, the problem was that Maoists were suspected, and then there were raids on Maoists, and then they had to be arrested, they had to be interrogated. So that took time, and there was some, collection of material, collection of evidence of the Maoists being involved. Now, in this case, if it is not Maoists, and if it is sabotage, it would be at a very low level. Somebody has done a deliberate act which resulted in this accident, or it's negligence. So it has to be one of the two. It's either deliberate or it's negligence. So I don't think it should take more than 6 months at the latest to come to a clear conclusion on what happened.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. A.P. Singh, for putting this into perspective and looking at the possibilities as far as this investigation goes. The big takeaway, I would say, from what Mr. Singh, the former CBI director, has to say, one, the fact that sabotage is something that one cannot rule out, but the fact of the matter is that would essentially involve someone within rather than an outside involvement, because as I understand, the access to the panel room, if at all the manipulation has happened at that stage, the access to that panel room is only limited to those who have been part of the department and not really from outside. So the entire inquiry essentially would revolve around them. If at all there is, any outsider to it, that perhaps changes the entire investigation, or it changes the way the investigation would be carried out. It's quite different than what we have seen in the past. As far as the 2010 incident is concerned, or even for that matter as recently about in 2016 when the National Investigation Agency was looking into the derailment case there, and the sabotage went to a foreign angle altogether. In this particular case so far, nothing of that sort looks like, Niranjan, nothing on the ground which indicates that there is a possibility that it could have an outsider link altogether.
Yeah. Just getting in some more detail, Shravan, that in the past, now, of course, you can't speculate, and it may not be right to make any assumptions based on the details, but it appears that there is a history of left-wing extremism or Maoism in Balasore. There has been, of course, but it's too vague, and it's too it's very early, and we can't jump into any conclusions. Of course, it's too far-fetched as well, because Shravan said in this particular case, and everything that the minister, the railway board, the experts have been saying indicates to just one aspect, which is the signalling and the electronic interlocking, which is there is a clear human interface to it, and negligence, if at all, would be at that level. We have another guest joining us, Shravan. We have Mr. L.N. Rao. L.N. Rao, who's a former DCP Special Cell, also joining us on this broadcast. Mr. Rao, thank you for joining us. You know the facts of the case. The CBI has taken over this investigation, and we've been reporting extensively on how this accident could have taken place. We've rather pieced together. We were at the panel room, we've spoken to station masters, we've spoken to the panel control members, people who decide which line, which train goes on which line, and the interlocking as well, whether there was some sort of sabotage, which is a possibility. As of now, all of these angles we are speaking about, we're trying to piece it together. But when you look at a case like this, how do you think the CBI will approach it, and what will they be looking for?
Yes, I think the case has been handed over to CBI for further investigation, and that may be the reason when it is it might have been seen that there may not be any sabotage. But initial investigation, I think so, doesn't indicate such thing. It appears to be a human error or the technical error, you can say, because of that this accident took place. And let us see what type of evidences are available for the CBI to investigate on all angles. I think this is a very serious matter in which so many lives have gone and so many people have been died. So because earlier also so many accidents were there, but there were inquiries, there were suggestions, there were so many other point of view that it should be taken for safety and security of the passengers in Indian Railway. But I think those suggestions might not have been taken care of. That's why this incident took place. Now it's a matter of inquiry by the CBI. They will find out the evidences. They will investigate thoroughly in this case from the very beginning, and each and every angle will be probed into that. And that station master and other persons who are concerned with these activities, they will be interrogated thoroughly. There will be a sport inquiry, and there will be some technical team will also investigate the things that how the signals or any track was changed under what circumstances. So let us see, wait and watch what inquiry the outcome is there. And so that, and I think that after that there will be so many other good suggestions to prevent all these such incident in future also. But the necessity of the hour is that all these suggestions should be taken care of by the Railway Department and the Government of India, so that no such tragedy occurs in futures like this.
Yes, sure.
Well, Mr. AP Singh, if I can just bring you once again.
Sure.
We've seen a history of such cases in the past. You mentioned about the Gyaneshwari Express incident. The National Investigation Agency was also looking into the case, but it then turns out that entire foreign angle that was being floated, it turned out that the National Investigation Agency found nothing in it. So, is there a possibility that we are also once again, jumping the gun even before the investigation has actually begun?
Yeah, one thing I'd like to make clear here is that the fact that it has not been handed over to the National Investigation Agency. Now, National Investigation Agency is now expected to investigate all the terrorist cases. So if it had been left, if the government suspected left-wing, extremist activity in this case, then they would have handed it over to the NIA. So I think this is more of an internal kind of a situation where there's been either negligence or deliberately somebody has sabotaged it from within the organization. So that is why it has been given to CBI and not to the NIA, because there is no. It appears that government doesn't suspect any terrorist activity as far as this case is concerned.
Yes, and to come back to yes, Mr. Rao, if I can take one more question with you before I go back to Mr. AP Singh, because Mr. AP Singh has been director of the CBI, so he has expertise in this area. So when, for example, when the police, or in this case, the railway minister or the railways department or the railway board decides to hand a case to the CBI, why do they do that? Why is a case handed over to the CBI? It's been about 2 days. It's been about 2 days because some people may have question on their minds. It's been less than 48 hours, in fact, 48 hours now. And the inquiry may have only just begun about 30 to 36 hours back. And within that time period, if you're handing it over to the CBI, what necessitates such a decision to hand over? Are they suspecting more? I mean, are there more questions on your mind? Because the Railway Board, when it held a news conference today, went into great detail about what they're looking for and how the report would make all of that very clear. But in this case, do you find it unusual that in less than 36 hours a CBI probe has been ordered for?
Yes, there is a system and there is a procedure how the case, any particular case is handed over to CBI. That is that central government or the directly can hand it over this case, because this case of railway accident is under the central government. And another thing that in any state, any particular case is required to be investigated by CBI, then the company.
Sir, I'm just going to interrupt you there for a second, Mr. Rao. I'm just sorry to interrupt you there. I'm just interrupting you for a second because the another